How you're perceived in your business has absolutely everything to do with the quality of clients that you will attract. And that's why today we're going to be talking about the difference between being perceived as a specialist or as an expert, and how to make sure that you're being shown in the best light possible so that you're irreplaceable, you are unmistakable, and you are clearly their first choice. Stay tuned, this is coming right up. Hello, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne. I'm a marketing strategist of over 25 years, an online entrepreneur for over 15 years now, that I've started and ran my own 2 small businesses from home, while I've also been raising my 2 children who are still young, who are still here at home, running around, going to all the sporting activities. And I'm here to help you be able to step into your personal power, to be able to share your expertise and your gifts with your community, with your audience, and have a business that supports you to live the life you want to be living. By that, I mean it's profitable, it's flexible, and ultimately fulfilling as well. Here on She's a Business podcast, it is a business podcast for women, made by women. And we touch on the subjects that help you to be the best version of you so that you find ultimate success in your business too. Without further ado, let me get into today's topic, which is all about the difference between specialist and expert and why this is so important. Now, let's set the scene first of all. I have noticed, I'm not sure if you have as well, but there's been a change in the online marketplace this year. And with that, I'm talking specifically around the expertise space in online business. So coaches, consultants, advisors, mentors, people who basically you sell your expertise. Maybe you're a service provider and you provide an expert service to other people or businesses. What is this change that I've seen? Well, women, for the first time, I've seen a huge number of people really ready to step up and to be seen as an expert. Now, this is a change. You might think, well, surely women have always been doing that. Yeah, a few have, but the vast majority have been really afraid to do so for a long time. And a lot of my work in my early years coaching, when I was coaching women on their marketing strategy, the first part of it, the positioning, we would come up against this barrier immediately. Women were simply afraid to call themselves an expert. They didn't even like to hear the word. They didn't relate to the term. They would pull away and repel themselves away from the possibility and the opportunity of being an expert. And so we would do so much work to actually get them to a place where they felt like they were ready to even believe this was possible for them. And then we go through the process of, okay, how do we help you become it? Like, how do we define what it is and help you? And those are the steps that I'm seeing far more now. I'm helping women with the actual steps on how to be seen as the expert. But firstly, it was about even believing they could. They felt like they weren't able to label themselves as an expert because of all of these reasons that seem to have come from, I guess, the culture and the world that we've grown up in. Whether it was the fact that we didn't see a lot of female experts as role models as we were children and growing up, whether it was the fact that you always, the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. And so this idea of an expert in our minds was that you know everything. And the fact that we all know that we don't know everything means that we can't be the expert. But that would then be true for everybody in the world, right? No one knows everything. And we all kind of know that. So when you look at someone who's an expert, they're sitting there having those exact same thoughts that you do, that they know there's more that they still don't know, even if they know more than you do right now. So it is that really funny psychological conundrum that we find ourselves in, where it feels like a big thing to suddenly claim expertise. And one of the things that I noticed a lot of women do is they think they've got to be the expert in everything. It's like there's big broad category and like, oh, I can't be the expert because if so-and-so's already in there, or I don't know enough about whatever topic. And often what it is that they really have not yet discovered their place of personal power, where it is that they truly are an expert. Because when you found that place where you are so aligned to, you know it like the back of your hand, you can do it blindfolded or talk about it blindfolded, whatever it may be, you know it so well, you can't help but be confident. You can't help but sound knowledgeable. You can't help but actually know in your heart of hearts that you can help your clients with incredible change in the problem that you solve. Now, this is the same whether it's a service you're providing, whether it's coaching, whether you're in health, wellness, business, finance, whatever niche, whatever area of your expertise it is, it's the same. The feeling, you get the feeling, and this is something that I've always talked to my clients about inside Business Jam. It's like when you've found that place, you actually feel it physically in your body. It is this most amazing sensation where you get a tingling in your cheeks, you get your heart is fluttering with excitement, but also feeling absolutely grounded. Like you're no longer nervous. You're no longer thinking, what if I'm going to say the wrong thing? And you actually have suddenly your brain just overflowing and exploding with things that you want to talk about. You've got content coming out of your ears. You're just like, oh my goodness, if I could just tap into some kind of app that could see what I'm thinking and spit it out and write all of the content. Like you've just got a never-ending fountain of it coming from inside you. In fact, something that I often feel is like, I just don't have enough time to get all of this stuff out. Like I have so many things to talk about, so much that I want to share. It's the problem of having too much. Often I'm like, oh, which one am I going to choose today? And that is because that feeling that comes from actually being in the place that you're meant to be in. Like this is your personal power. This is the place that you belong to be. And it is such a powerful place to be running a business from. Now, I said and promised to you that we're going to talk about the different levels. And the thing is that most people are not operating from this place. They are not there. They are in one of the other two layers. So let's start off with, I really see, if we're going to simplify, and of course, with every kind of simplification, there is a level of generalization, and you might be like, well, I'm kind of bordering too, but let's go through the three different levels that are the primary levels people would be in terms of this kind of differentiation in the market. See where you feel like you're fitting at the moment, because it's going to give you the insight as to where you're actually playing in your business right now. And this directly correlates to the results that you'll be experiencing. So at the bottom level, we have what I would call the commodity. Now, another way to describe this might be a generalist, but a commodity can be fairly specific. The reason why it's a commodity is that it's very common. It's a commonly found skill or attribute. A lot of people have it. A lot of people know this. A lot of people have whatever skill it is. So even if it's something specific, which I think is where I'm really have moved away from talking about generalists who have loads of skills. And to be honest, they're kind of in that same commodity space. It's just for a different reason. If you're the generalist, you're like the Walmart, the Bunnings, the Kmart, whatever you want to call it, of your industry. And you're offering a myriad of different things. And we all know that those places are where you get the lowest prices and often the lowest quality as well. Unfortunately, that is true. And if you're operating in there and you're high quality, then you're definitely in the wrong space. But let's talk about the commodity. Commodity could be specialized. It could be something quite specific. But if it is something that a lot of people do and can offer, then you are in a commodity space because you're very easily replaceable. You are one choice out of thousands, right? And if there are lots of people who do what you do, then you're always going to be competing on comparison People compare you against others, against all the other apples. And the main thing people compare on, let's be honest, is price. Okay. When things are very, very similar, like I've got a Granny Smith apple here and another Granny Smith apple from the fruit stall next door. And that, if one is $1 a kilo less than the other, I'm going to go and buy the ones that are the $1 kilo less because I'm getting the same thing for less money, right? But if your fruit stall has a totally different type of apple that no one else has, and it's this amazing type that I really want, I don't really care that it's $1 more a kilo because I want that type of apple that's specific and unique and I can't find it anywhere else. So that's what I mean by commodity. So you can ask yourself when you think about it, am I playing in a place where I'm a commodity, where I'm easily replaced? If so, then that is the core reason why you'll be finding that clients are very price conscious, that you're having to chase clients, that you're probably not getting a lot of people coming to you because it's very hard as a commodity to be known and recognized and be sort of stand out from the crowd. It's very, very hard to do that. I often find people in this place they get a lot of business from referrals. So you're sort of relying on referrals, relying on people who have worked with you before, telling their friends, oh, hey, I worked with that person. They were really great. Because it's super hard to actually market yourself when you are a commodity. It's hard for anyone to get that you're different, to understand why choose you, because you're not actually looking any different from anyone else. So that's level number one, the most challenging place to be if you're in a business. Now, the next level up is specialist. And this is where your specialization is something that is less common. So there are far fewer people have this skill, this expertise that you have. However, it may still be something that other people have. Right? So this would be where, for example, maybe you've trained in a specific technique, such as there are a lot of coaches who have done breathwork training. So if you're a coach and you do breathwork, great. You're specialized in that you may have the coaching expertise in order to how to coach people. And now you're adding on breathwork technique. And that's something that not as many people have. In fact, there's a much smaller group of coaches who have breathwork techniques. So you are a specialist, but they can still replace you. They can still go, oh, I'm looking at this person who's got breathwork versus that one. And while it is the benefit to being a specialist, and it's a good thing to have raised yourself up to that level, is that you often are able to charge more because there are less people and it is more specialized than the people in the commodity layer. So your prices are generally higher, and you definitely find it easier to do your marketing because you've got something more specific that you're talking about. You've got something more specific that you're able to offer. And that is a good thing. But this used to be, I guess, what we would talk about, with niching. When I even go back to my content pre-2020, I was talking a lot about specialization versus generalization and how this was the holy grail and we needed to specialize. And that was really the level most people went to and stopped. And I think that we've still got a hangover from that era. People still thinking, okay, well, I've got a specialist area. That's my niche. Therefore, I'm done. Tick the box and move on. And then they're like, why am I still finding it hard to attract clients? Why am I still feeling like I'm so overlooked? I'm invisible. I'm like the hidden gem in my industry, or you might be frustrated because you can see someone else or other people out there, in plural, who have less experience than you. They have, less. Well, it's really around the experience usually. Like they might be brand new. They might have not many miles under their belt in terms of what they've done in their business, and they're out there often able to attract more clients and charge more. And I get this huge frustration that I see a lot of women having where they're like, well, I don't really get how I can compete. And maybe, usually then we start to think the problem is us. Like, there must be something wrong with me. People don't like me. And what that happens then, what I see happening for so many people in this specialist space is they go on a never-ending quest to find what's wrong with them and change it. So they start doing money manifestation courses to find their money blocks and remove them because they think they must be repelling people. They do training on every different marketing tactic there is out there because they think I must just be doing it wrong. They go and learn how to do better Instagram reels. They buy all these courses and programs teaching them how to market themselves. Maybe it's like, I'll go and buy a course on PR and learn how to pitch myself to media and all of this stuff. And then they find that they've just spent a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time and they're still in the same place. And it's the invisible thing that they haven't realized is what they're missing. And that is that there's another level above that they didn't get to. And if they crack this one, some people will find it on their own. Others need the mirror held up to them. They need to sort of see that they're not yet in that next place, which I like to call your expertise, your expert era. But this is where you are not a specialist. You are distinctly different. So you're in a category of one. You are in your personal power. You are in a place that you have created in the market, not a space that already existed, that someone else defined, that they own, by the way, in a place and a space that you've created, you've defined. Therefore, you are the leader of it. Automatically, you're the leader of it. It's fantastic, right? How easy is that? You literally can create your own category and lead it because you've created it. And as long as you stay ahead of anyone else coming in there and you still own it and you live in that place of personal power, you will always own that space. This is a level that is above the specialist. Now, when you are there, you're not replaceable at all because by very nature of it, you're distinctly different from everybody else. They can't go, oh, well, there's another person doing exactly the same thing and with a program that's similar and I'm going to compare them on price. That doesn't exist. So you end up in a space and a place that has very little price consciousness. Now, yes, people have budgets. Yes, people will have an appetite to spend and invest in themselves up to certain levels, depending on what space you're in. Of course, that exists, but they're not comparing you on price to somebody else. There's far less competition. There's no comparison because you're distinctly different. So if they're going to choose something else, somebody else, a different coach, a different service provider, they're choosing them for another reason. And this is where we're seeing people who manage to break through into this upper level are having the most success, which is pretty obvious, right? Because you feel distinctly different to your people. When they come across you, they're just like, oh, wow, this is really hitting home differently. I'm seeing something suddenly with fresh eyes. It feels like I've opened a door and I'm looking out for the first time. There's just a totally different feeling that comes with it when you're in that place. The other part of the reason why it feels different for your people is because you are firmly in your personal power. You are in the place you belong, where you are meant to be. And I'm not saying that this was ordained by God and, maybe you believe that, that's fine. It may be something that you're meant to be doing right now, and it could change in a decade. It could change in 5 years. That doesn't matter. What matters is this is where you're meant to be now. This is your place, your space, and you know it when you're in it. So if you don't have that feeling of knowing, it means you're not in it, right? And that's what it means to be an expert. An expert is someone who's perceived as not just someone with expertise, because that is a specialist. They have expertise. And to be fair, some people who are a commodity still have expertise. It's just that it's very common expertise. The specialist has a little bit, less common expertise. The expert has rare expertise. And in fact, the more rare it can be, the more expert you are. And the beautiful thing is I'm seeing so many more women who are starting to realize that they have something to offer, that they don't need to be constricted. They don't need to be bound by, what society told them, or, hey, do this qualification, have this job, and this is sort of the scope of what you're able to achieve. A lot of women are now seeing, and there's a whole conversation we could have about why that's happening, but seen a massive shift just in the energy, in the way people are seeing their own potential and what they're ready to do. And that is what's so exciting, because the more women that we have who are really ready to speak and teach others and share their talents, share their insight, share their unique combination of expertise, knowledge, skills that they've gained through their experiences, the better off our society is going to be. And gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait to see more of it. We're on the precipice of an amazing new era where we're going to see a real push and thriving amount of women stepping up and being bold enough to speak their truth and share what they know without this fear of being judged, without this fear of being criticized, conforming to some topic that other people have decided. Like, I think people are just sick of being told what to think and what to believe. And if that's you, good, because you're in exactly the right place. The time is now. The rising is happening. And I am 100% here for it. I hope you are as well. There's been so much talent, so much knowledge that's been hidden and kind of kept just because women have been so persecuted for speaking up and having different opinions that are different from everybody else or different from what the government wants you to think. That a lot of people have just been purely afraid of doing it, and their voices haven't reached very far. And I think now, more than ever, we're seeing people are willing to speak what they think and believe and share their knowledge, share the things that are really helping you and the truth, which we could all absolutely do with more of. So excitingly, this is something that we're going to be covering. I'm going to go into much more detail and actually break it apart for you and also show you how to back end this personal power with the right offer inside my training that's coming up this month. It's called Master Your Marketing. So I've designed this specifically for women. We're going to address the challenges that women have about stepping into their expert era, about their personal power and discovering it and actually allowing themselves to be in it, and then show you what you need to have in your business that actually allows you to operate from that place of personal power. So make sure that you're signed up to Master Your Marketing. It's going to be great. I'm running it like a mini program that I would normally run as a paid program for clients. This is going to be just a free experience for women specifically, because I want to help push this, this new wave of women who are confidently stepping forward. I want to help be part of that. So head over to my website, jessicaosborne.com/MYM. You'll find the link also in my show notes below. So go down, click on it, sign up for Master Your Marketing, and I will see you in there. Super exciting. I look forward to it. Chat soon.